You could be forgiven for thinking that the Drive soundtrack is my favourite ever, based on how much I gushed over it in a recent video, but the best of all time, for me, is Tron Legacy. And I don't just mean Journey and the Eurythmics, I mean Daft Punk's contributions as well. The soundscape that these now former bandmates created helped to flesh out and make real a cyber world. Their contributions to that film can't be understated. They made it what it is. Incredible. I'm Rustin Charmaine, and this is a loosely defined series where I talk about any old shite for 1000 words or thereabouts. The tale of Tron Legacy is a rather simple one, full of religious imagery and biblical scale. The Grid, a digital world created by Flynn, designed to be a digital frontier to reshape the human condition. But it became something else, something unpredictable. This game world, this space for users to interface with one another, aided by Flynn's programs, inadvertently became a melting pot, spawning from nothing the first example of sentient, self-created artificial intelligence. But like the treacherous white blood cells that attack my own small bowel, Crohn's disease is great. The inmates took over the asylum. The safeguards that Flynn built, seeing the self-spawning programs as imperfections and wiping them out. Well, almost. They managed to send their god into hiding, but they never did catch or kill him, protecting new, innocent life at the cost of his own freedom. The saviour, the son of Flynn, belatedly arrives to return the Grid to its intended purpose. The opening act of the film follows the prodigal's son as he fruitlessly exists in the real world. The score is sweeping, epic, and digital. Way before he visits the old arcade and hears the music from his father's Walkman, the soundtrack foreshadows his eventual destination. When we do reach the Grid, we are stunned by the incredible visuals, but we are also brought into the world by the intoxicating score, ripping us from our world and placing us in theirs. Yes, the light cycles are awesome, and the disc wars look terrifyingly intense, but it is this that makes me want to visit the Grid despite the fascist overtones. Well, perhaps I'll visit after they're put to bed. It would have been incredibly easy for Daft Punk to create this soundtrack alone, using their vast library of digital sounds to score the long-awaited sequel in an entirely electronic sound. It would also have been simple to start the film with orchestral score before switching to synthetic once we enter the artificial world, but that is not what they did. Every moment of this film's score contains a duality. We experience the real world through the son of Flynn, alien within it, our destiny elsewhere, and so the score is almost entirely artificial in its feel, preempting the turn of events to follow. Once inside the Grid, the score becomes more orchestral, always retaining that electronic edge, allowing us to feel the epic scope and potential of this new world whilst never forgetting that it is not forged in flesh and blood like our own. The score synergizes synth and string with a mastery that I've yet to experience in any other form, other than maybe Volcor X. Despite its mastery, it never feels overbearing, never overpowering the plot or characters that it was crafted to add dimension to. It adds a layer to this film that, if missing or underplayed, would detract from the sum total of Tron Legacy, rendering it a merely okay film rather than the excellent one that it is. I'm doing my best not to spoil too much of this film. I won't be taking any clips from the last act. It's now on Disney Plus, so please watch it. The more views Disney get for this, the more likely they are to put money and effort into the inevitable sequel. It is a crying shame though that Daft Punk will not be around to craft the sonic atmosphere of the Grid once again. The visual for Flynn's world is an intoxicating mixture of light and dark, tubes of neon in blue and orange. It is a film from 2010 after all. Punctuating the darkness to create a city, an arena, a desert wilderness. Alone, this would be a sparse, lifeless world. Technically, I suppose, it is. But the soundtrack serves to give the world a personality, a scale, a presence. This is the first cyberspace to create sentient life, and it feels that way, thanks to the soundtrack. I probably listen to the tracks from Drive more often, but no film score does more for the movie it sits in than this one. Often, the film makes the score. What would Binary Sunset be without Luke gazing into the stars? What would Honor Him be without Maximus Decimus Meridius' defiant last stand? But in this case, the roles are flipped. What would Tron Legacy be without its expertly crafted sonic world? Far less than it is with it. Experience this film. Get your best headphones or speakers and immerse yourself in it. It's the only way to truly come to love it as I have.